going to be running Iron Grasp to hold on to survivors once we pick them up. Very much needed. Then we're going to run Unrelenting so we can recuperate faster from our missed attacks, and cooldown is decreased by 30%. Again, needed against good survivors. Bitter Murmur. Read auras of survivors when a generator is fully repaired within 16 meters, and they'll be revealed for 5 seconds. Last generator, you get 7 seconds. So it's a good way to tell where they're going, how many there are. Try to head them off as a hunter. You need that. And we're doing the Huntress Lullaby to help give them regression on their skill checks. Then we'll move on to our add-ons, which is we're running Iridescent Head. It inflicts dying upon the victim and reduces your hatchet amount by 4. Then we're going to run Infantry Belt. We start with 2 extra hatchets and increases the carried hatchet amount by 2. So we're still going to be behind the usual 5 hatchets. Iridescent Head only works for throwing a hatchet. So if you're not good with the hatchets like I'm not, it helps but not a lot. Then we're going to use Black Ward as the offering to try to keep our add-ons once it's burned. Again, everything I'm going to say throughout this video is my opinion. I only haven't played this game for a couple weeks. It's a fresh perspective from a new player. So we're playing as Huntress, and we're starting out with 3 hatchets. And we're just starting our patrol, because that's the best way to go about it, is just to start patrolling. Because you're already at a disadvantage on 4 against 1, you don't know where they're at. So just start looking for generators. That's all you really can do. And there's a survivor. We'll try to take them down. 1 hit, primary weapon. And there she goes. Being a hunter, you usually have to rely on intuition, because they will try to fake you out, try to play mind games, loop you. There she is. So we downed her, and she's already crawling away. And as soon as I pick her up, get blinded by another survivor. So now we have to try to track 1 or 2 of them down. And there's one. Not the ones that we were dealing with before, but another survivor just happened in our path. Missed hatchet throw, of course. There was a survivor running that way. And now we're lost, because if they're not running, then there's no way to track them. We'll make sure we're full up on hatchets. Keep moving. And there we can see our perks are coming into play, so we can see where they're headed to and try to cut them off. And there was the one we were just chasing. Got another hit in. And we're in the chase. getting faked out again because they're good survivors. Finally downed her and pick her up. Now we just have to find the hook. And then we'll head off again. Still looking. Thought maybe there might be somebody hiding there, and as soon as we turn our back, there we go. Now we're chasing another survivor. And yet another one with a flashlight. Tried to fake us out. We got him. At least got a hit in. No, he's down. So we'll get him, try to hook him. And then we're off again. There's another survivor. Working on a generator. There's two survivors that we can see. And we'll chase after one of them because we can't chase both of them when they split up. Actually landed a hatchet throw, so we're granted dying from the first hit. And we'll try to put him on the hook. And flashlight as soon as I try to hook him. Try to get blinded again by another flashlight. So again, we find ourselves searching. It's what we're usually doing as a hunter or killer. Same thing. Is you're looking for somebody. Empty on hatchets because of reduced capacity, so have to keep chasing. Down that one, and we'll try to hook them. And there's a couple survivors. Hey, trying to get blinded again. Imagine that. So we'll move on and try to find one of those survivors that was just around us. And there she is. Saw and went chasing. And it just happened to be around the hook. Alright, now let me explain something to everyone. I don't know what everyone's new definition of camping is, but I've been playing video games since 1989. And this is not camping. When you see somebody coming to undo something, and you happen to be in the area where you see them, that's not camping. It's called you saw them. So we have to try to clean up our mess. Still moving. We're not sitting in one spot, letting a trap, or waiting for them. That would be camping. This is playing the game. Looks like we downed another survivor. So we'll try to hook them. Successful. And we still have 0 hatchets. Oh, there's a flashlight man. And tries to blind us again. So, as a killer, hunter, whatever you want to call him, especially when they're running multiple flashlights and just keep coming after you, it's frustrating, but it's part of the game. I mean, if the flashlights weren't able to be used, they wouldn't be there. The same thing with hatchets or the add-ons. If they weren't meant to be used, they wouldn't be in the game. And we got blinded. Slightly. Evaded it a little bit. Oh, look, there's 2 more survivors. Which one do we chase? The closest one. Again, still have no hatchets, but we're going to destroy the pallet so they can't keep looping that. And there they go, looping through the window. Playing mind games, so let's just get some hatchets, so we'll need them. If we're lucky enough to land a hit with one of our 3 hatchets that we can carry. And there's evidence of our survivors, so we're going to damage that generator and see if we can track them. And there they go. And there's another survivor over there. Mr. Flashlight Man. And they're just trying to loop around and play mind games. Missed hatchet throw. I missed a lot more than I ever land. There's no reticle, there's no aiming device. You just have to try to align the center of your screen to where you're trying to aim. And it's not very intuitive. It's a learning process. I've only been playing a week or 2 at most. Matches when I can. So no, I'm not perfect aim with throwing hatchets. Understandably. We hooked her again. And we're still on the prowl. Because we've been moving the whole time. Trying to disrupt what their efforts are. Now we're taking a look around because, more than likely, because they want the points. Survivors wants the points just like the killer does. Somebody's going to try to save the person on the hook. We're going to take a look around. If we don't see anything, we're going to continue on. Alright. And there's evidence that there's a survivor nearby, so we go looking for them. Again, when there's evidence that you can see of a survivor nearby, it's not camping. You're searching. Camping would be, I don't know, using the stealth ability and going to a corner and going stealth and waiting for somebody to show up. Which is not happening here. Oh, there's one. The gates are open. So we're going to try to get a kill. We still have 1 hatchet. And missed. So we're in the chase. Pallet on top from Mr. Flashlight Man. So we're going to try to find him and reload up on hatchets if we can, because the time is running out. And missed. Good juke from them. Can't fault them for that. I mean, you really can't fault a good survivor that's experienced for outplaying you. Not at all. And there we go with the juking and the mind gaming. And we got a hit in. And now we're still looking. And there's the gate open and the survivor just standing in the open gate. Why would you be just standing in the open gate when you can escape? Last ditch effort, throw that. Didn't have any indication that it was going to hit or desire to, because it doesn't matter. I mean, once they're that close to the exit, it really doesn't matter. So now I know one has escaped, and we're still looking for the rest of them. Could be hiding in a locker near the open gate, so that's where we're patrolling. Again, that's what a killer does, is patrol, keep moving. There was no indication there, except for that blood trail we just saw. So we're going to double back, look around again. Because we have evidence that they're close by. And we're going to keep moving. Nothing there, just throw it anyway. Because at this point, why not? I mean, the game is pretty much over. And at this point, I've gotten 0 kills. Because I've kept moving, trying to disrupt them, and getting attacked by multiple flashlights every time I do try to make a move. And there's 2 of them just hanging out at the exit gate, taunting the killer. And landed a hatchet throw. Pick them up. As you can see, the timer is almost out, so I'm going to try to hook them before the time runs out, which I don't think I'll be able to. And time runs out, and that's it. I end up with 1 kill just because the survivor was in the game area when time ended. Now, as you can see on the video, throughout the entire game, there was no camping. The killer kept moving. There were tactics employed, a study of what they might do, taking a gamble, and we were awarded our points based on how we played. I ended up with 42,000 points this game because I feel I played a good, clean, fair, decent game. Now, I will spare everyone with the editing of all the post-chat names that I was called. Anything you can think of, I was called. A camper, many expletives that I'm not going to mention because there's no point in it. But camping, piece of crap, except not in those words. I sucked as a player. All this when I was just playing the game. And they were playing the game. Now, the one I actually ended up getting a kill on even had the audacity to say in the chat box, "You're welcome for the kill." I'm not thanking you. You were there. You could have just left. But you chose to stay to try to taunt the killer. So if you got killed because you wanted to taunt somebody, that's your problem. That's your fault. That's not my fault. I'm playing the game. If you were playing the game and 2 of the other survivors already escaped and 2 of you are standing there just to rub it in, that's what's toxic. They like to throw that word around, toxic. Using the elements in the game to your advantage is not toxic. If they were not meant to be used, they wouldn't be there. I don't like the flashlights. I don't like being blinded by 2 or 3 different survivors every time I try to hook somebody. But it's in the game. I don't hold it against anybody. I try to play around it. I don't taunt anybody. I don't face camp somebody. I don't sit in the corner and run insidious and go stealth and just wait for somebody, because there's no point in it. I get 1 kill maybe, and then the other generator is gone, I'll lose 3. You have to keep moving as a killer. And the video shows I did exactly that. Might have used some tactics or saw the survivors nearby and went patrolling for them around where somebody was hooked because I saw a survivor there. It's not trying to set the game in your favor when you have evidence that there's somebody close by. But the fact that you waited at the gate just to taunt somebody, and then when your taunt backfires on you and you end up dying, you try to blame the killer because you wanted to get in the extra taunting. That's what's toxic. Just not escaping and just waiting there, that's what's toxic. And this gameplay was recorded last night on the up and up. As I said, I've only been playing for a week at 2 or 2 at most. I'm not good. I would say I'm not great, but I'm not even good. That's probably the most point totals I've ever gotten in a game. Simple as that. I'm not maxed out. Why I choose to play the Huntress? Well, I didn't go and research who was best killer or anything like that. I played the Huntress because I liked the idea of the Huntress killer. And that's what I started with, and that's what I've went with. I'm not a high rank, and they're not even maxed out. So people, that's the one issue as a new player I have with Dead by Daylight. It's a good game. They can change some mechanics up, add some different play modes to make it more engaging. But the people need to get on the same level as understanding if it's in the game, it's available to use. Are mistakes made where things can be abused? Of course, and they're usually fixed. I haven't been playing this game long enough to know how long it takes something to get fixed that's being abused. But still, as a new player of like 2 weeks, you don't need to call me every name in the book because the game didn't go exactly how you thought. Especially when you're sitting there trying to taunt the killer and do everything in your power to disrupt their gameplay. When instead of two of you coming at me with flashlights because I'm trying to hook somebody, let them get hooked. You could be repairing generators because I'm busy, and the game would have been over quicker. But it's all about the points. And if the points don't go your way, the way you think they should, your immediate action on the post-game screen is to belittle and what amounts to bullying somebody. And that's what the major issue is with this game. It's not the game itself. The game can be worked around, the bugs can be fixed, game modes can be added, all that can be fixed. But the people playing, when you're in that mindset, there is no reason for that. There's no call for it. There's no need to bully somebody, to call somebody names because they played the game. There was no camping. You can see that in the video. I didn't face camp anybody. It's in the video. Now, you can also see that 2 of the 4 survivors waited at the exit for me to show up so they could taunt me, and it backfired on one of them. And when it backfired on one of them, they became insanely salty and called me every name in the book. That wasn't my fault. You could have easily just left before I even got there. So this is my point, my opinion. You can disagree with my opinion. There's nothing wrong with the game that can't be fixed. What's wrong is with some of the mindset of the players. And more games I play, I'm realizing it's not an isolated small percentage of the players. I mean, it's up there. It might not be half, but it's not far below half the players get like that. So my advice, I don't know if I'll continue playing the game because bugs don't kill games. They can be fixed. The communities kill games. And if that's the way you welcome people into community, there's not going to be much of one left for long. That's my opinion. That's my rant. The proof we just watched. With that, I'll do everything I can. My advice to everyone that plays Dead by Daylight is play the game. Just play the game. If you're a survivor, fix your generators. Open the gates. Escape. If you can save another survivor, do it. But don't make that your primary goal just to try to screw somebody over. Killers, you play the game. You patrol. You keep running. You keep moving. You try to disrupt what's going on and get your kills. Which, in order to get your kills, you have to hook somebody 3 times. Which is kind of absurd, but it's for the gameplay, so it's understandable. Unless you run the offering of the Mori, which I have done 1 time. And I did it 1 time because I've never experienced it. And because I ran that and sacrificed, or not sacrificed, but straight up killed 1 person because I hooked them once and then caught them again, I was toxic. 3 of them escaped. I only got 1. I just wanted to see what the graphics were, what the animations were. But I'm toxic because I was playing the game with something that's in the game for us to use. So use your flashlight, survivors. It's in the game. It's good for you to use. don't belittle killers. When you get up on them, when all of you are going to escape, don't stand there and taunt. Just escape in the game. You're just wasting time to try to rub it into somebody's face. And that's not good sportsmanship. That's my rant on this. It's been long-winded, but I felt it needs to be said. Again, I don't have thousands of hours in on this game. I've got like 40. And that's my first impressions. As I said before, people leave communities of games. They don't leave games themselves. So if you like playing the game, and you've been in the community a long time, and you recognize these behaviors in yourself, you might want to think twice and try to change them, because you're going to end up destroying your community. Again, all my opinion, you can feel free to disagree, but if I continue to play, I will continue to play the game. I will just not interact with all the people who want to try to bully somebody for playing the game. And if any of what the gameplay showed me camping, we need to know what the definition of camping is now, because that's not the definition of camping. I can camp, I can face camp, I choose not to because there's no point in it, because as a killer, if you watch one person die and try to keep everybody away from them, everybody else escapes. Meanwhile, while they're hanging there, I could be landing hits on other survivors, making sure the generators don't get repaired or destroying the generators. Simple as that. Stop being toxic. That's my final word to everybody. Stop being hateful, rude, and you like to use the word so much, toxic. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you letting me rant and vent about it. And if you don't like it, well, that's your choice. If you do, let me know in the comments. And let's try to make it a better experience for everybody.